All right, David Ozio here, Lake Fork Guide. Man, do I love this time of the year. Throwing these type of baits, lipless crankbaits, rattle traps, even square bills. There's a variety of different baits that you can use at this time of the year, but when you're dealing with water temps that are anywhere from 45, 55 degrees, you just cannot beat a lipless crankbait. And this is one we're throwing right now here on Fork as of the middle of January. And if you search around on this lake, you're going to find grass that's still growing in, 2 to 3 foot of water. And on warm days, sunny days, especially when you've got 2 or 3 days in a row where you've got sun and a south wind, look to the north banks and you'll find that water's going to be a little bit warmer, and those areas are more apt to get bites on lipless crankbaits like this. Now, this is not the only option that you can use in this on a sunny day. Also, I would not be afraid to throw the old faithful chrome. This is a blueback with an orange belly, and the brand doesn't matter, just as long, this is a 1/2 ounce bait. But whenever we get into a little bit shallower grass, where that grass is up there in 1-2 foot of water, I want to be working the outside edge of that grass, not on top of it necessarily, but on the outside edge, and sizing down to a 1/4 ounce trap is, I'll always have 1 or 2 of those tied on also. So these are probably your main 2 go-tos in situations that are pre-cold front. All right, that's necessary to know. Fish are more than apt to hit moving baits prior to a cold front than they would be the day after a cold front, even 2 or 3 days after a cold front, where your barometer goes up. Today is a perfect example. I left today, the barometer was 30.54. So you're not as apt to get those bites on those moving baits. Those fish are a lot more lethargic and they're not willing to chase. All right. In that case, we'll go down lines like that with the grass and we'll throw a jerk bait. And, you can pop up and then pause it. And if it's a suspending bait, you can let it sit there for a good 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds, and then pop it again. Just let it set. And a lot of times those fish will come and get it and hit it. So, that is an option as far as going for bigger fish. If you're in one of these tournaments where you need unders, like there's a bunch of these events coming up, Bass Champs is one of them, you can size down to a smaller jerkbait and that will do extremely, extremely well. Now, under those high barometer conditions, it's really, really, really necessary to size down in your baits, but also, you might have to go to a finesse tactic, and even using something like this, baby brush hog, this is California 420. I'll even use some orange and green Senkos that I'll put a 1/16 weight on and work it in that grass or even out in 5, 6, 7 foot. And even if there's wood structure in the area, you want to run it right by that wood structure because those fish are beginning to park up on that wood and get ready for the spawn. The spawn's right around the corner. And so it's going to happen here pretty quick. But boy, I tell you what, it's tough to beat this bait right here on those high pressure days. Even on those high pressure days, I might even use a black and blue Senko with a 1/16 weight and, just work it really, really slow. And that's going to put fish in the boat no matter what. Now, take into consideration where you're at. You might be in a pocket, might be in a cove, whatever the case. After that cold front, those fish are going to move back out and they're going to probably be setting out in the middle of that cove. So don't be afraid just to take a random cast, throw it out in the middle and work some like that instead of always beating the bank. That's not necessarily always going to be good, especially right after a cold front. Prior to a cold front, it might be the ticket. So take this information to heart here in January, even into February. Depends on how cold it gets. And, we've been known to have really, really bad cold weather throughout February's before. So it's possible this could happen. So take all this to heart, put it in your arsenal. And you know what? Here on Fork or any of these other lakes, that when water temps are 45 to 55 degrees, give these tips a trick and give them a ride. And you may be surprised at how well you do. So play well, people. Bye.